So WoW Remix Mists of Pandaria has been getting quite a lot of changes, including a ton of buffs. And with all of that, I think I have found the absolute best way to level up a ton of new characters up to level 70 as quickly as possible. And with some of the most recent changes, this will also be one of, if not the best bronze farms. And this is going to take a handful of steps, but once you get to the point to be able to do this farm effectively, I think this is going to be absolutely the best farm in Remix, and it's going to allow you to get tons of new characters to 70 that are going to transfer to retail once the event's over. And I think this is going to allow you to get every single cosmetic in this event pretty easily. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do is to level up a character naturally. You're going to want to be getting a character to around level 60 first, because you're going to need to get the infinite power achievements. Now, these achievements are based off of how many threads you get in this event. The threads are the different stat buffs you get, which will allow you to infinitely boost stats. Now, these threads that you get on your main will transfer to all of your different ults on all of your different accounts, but this is based on infinite power achievements, and there's 12 ranks of this. So every time you get a new milestone of threads on your main, you'll get an achievement, and then your ults will start at that higher point all the way up to infinite power 12, which takes 4,200 threads. I got this when I was around level 60. That's why I recommend getting to at least level 16. Once you get that achievement for infinite power 12, your ults will start with 100% increased experience and a bunch of additional stats. This is actually very important. You pretty much need this stat bump on new ults for this farm to work. Now, after you've gotten infinite power 12 on your main, you've gotten the 4,200 threads, you're then going to go to the Battle.net website. You're going to log into your account. You're going to go to account settings. Then you're going to go to games and subscriptions. Then you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's going to be an area to create a new starter account for World of Warcraft. Go create that, whether you're on EU, US, whatever region you're on. You're going to click create, and that's going to create you a new trial account for World of Warcraft. Depending on how many other trial accounts you have, it'll have a different name. It'll either be WoW 1, WoW 2, WoW 3. You're going to have up to 8, but for now, you just need one trial account. Now, the reason we're using a trial account is because we're going to be boosting our other characters with a level 20 on that trial account, because on trial accounts, you can only get up to level 20, but you can still do Remix Mists of Pandaria on the trial account. And because of how scaling is working in this event, a level 20 that has a ton of additional stats that's continuing to even get more and more stats is actually like the strongest character in the game. And then after you've created your starter account, you're going to go to the Battle.net launcher. You're going to go to World of Warcraft, and above the play button, there's going to be an account selector. Make sure you select that new trial account you've created. You're going to click play, and then you're just going to go make whatever character you want on whatever server you want. This is going to be your twink character that you get up to level 20, and this is going to be your character that you boost all of your others with. Now, you can pretty much use any class, any spec you want. Healers are pretty good because they do a good amount of damage, and you can keep yourself healed, especially before you get crazy stat increases. And because of the Searing Light Tinker Gem, all the healing you're going to be doing can also be transferred into damage. And if you're ever with higher level characters on your twink and you heal them, it heals them for a lot more. It heals them proportionally to their level. So then that Searing Light will also do a ton of additional damage. So if you want to do a healer, I would definitely recommend a priest and then start out with Holy Nova. That's actually a really good starting point, but you can do pretty much anything you want. Any DPS is still going to be good because of how many threads and how much stats you have. So once you have that character created, just go do some dungeons or quests and get that character up to level 20. That's going to be the cap you're going to be getting to, and that's pretty much what you're going to want to get to then start boosting your other characters. So once you've gotten your trial account character to level 20, you're now ready to boost. Now you're going to keep that character logged on, and then you're going to go back to your Battle.net launcher, and again, you're going to go to the drop down above play, and you're going to select your main WoW account, where you're going to be making all of the characters you want to boost. This is your actual account that has a subscription where you want all of your characters that you're actually going to be playing. You're going to go on that, and you're going to use whatever character isn't level 70. Doesn't matter if you go create a new character level 10. Doesn't matter if you use your character you got to level 60 to get all of those threads for your ult. Doesn't matter which character. You're going to be able to do this on any new character you want. And then once you're logged in, you're going to group up your level 20 on your starter account and the character you're going to want boosted on your main account. Either whisper each other or add each other, invite each other. You guys are now in a group. Then you're going to queue up for a heroic dungeon. This is also one of the reasons why you're going to want to either be a healer or a tank for your starter account characters. You're going to generally want the character that's being boosted to queue as DPS, because because they're going to be AFK at the start of the dungeon. But once you get that Q pop for a heroic dungeon, make sure to accept it on both characters. Then you guys are going to load in. Now you're going to be in a heroic dungeon with the character being boosted, who's going to AFK at the start of the dungeon, and your level 20 character that's doing the boosting. You're basically just going to go through the dungeon and solo it. And because you're level 20 with the infinite power achievement, you're going to have a ton of starting stats. You're going to be able to solo these heroic dungeons pretty easily. And because you're level 20, you're only going to have access to certain dungeons, and all of the dungeons you have access to at that low level are pretty easy. Pretty much all of them are really straightforward. There's no mechanics or anything that are going to slow down the dungeons. So you're just going to go through on your level 20, kill everything, complete all the bosses. Once you complete the dungeon, just leave the group with both of your characters. Now, as you're going through on your level 20, make sure to be looting all of the bosses, but on your character that's being boosted, that's on your main account with a subscription, you don't need to loot everything, because that character that's being boosted will actually get all of the boss drops mailed to them. This includes the bonus to experience. It includes all the stat threads. It includes all of the gear. Everything that dropped on all of the bosses throughout the dungeon will be mailed to your character that's being boosted. Now, the reason this way to level is actually so strong is because you get the dungeons completed very quickly because you're on this 20 that can just destroy everything and solo all the enemies in the dungeon. But completing those random queue dungeons will give both of your characters a big chunk of XP. So your character that's being boosted will probably get a level or two every single dungeon. And that experience you get for completing it is scaled to the character's level. But then every single boss that's killed drops a big chunk of bonus experience that's also tied to the character's level, and it retroactively increases even in your mailbox. And you'll see this in some of the footage where I just did a bunch of dungeons. I have hundreds of things in my mailbox, and I just go pick them all up, and all of those bosses will drop a big chunk of experience. All of it would retroactively increase as you're leveling up, even as you're continuing to take it all from the mailbox. So every single boss you kill gives a massive chunk of experience. Every completion gives a massive chunk of experience. So the character being boosted is just going to be getting multiple levels every single run. And that's pretty much the entirety of the boosting method to level up any amount of characters you want to level up. But I did mention that this is also very good for bronze farming, because if you continue to do this on the same character you want boosted, you're not going to actually be getting much bronze, or actually any bronze at all. But with the new addition that was made recently to Remix, any character you get to high level gets a massive amount of bronze. Specifically, if you get a character to level 70, you'll get a total of 40,000 bronze on that character. That doesn't count anything you're getting while leveling up. That's just from getting to, I think, 50, 60, and 70, you'll get a bunch of chunks of bronze, all equaling out to 40,000. So every new character you boost through this method and get up to level 70 gets a guaranteed 40,000 bronze, which is massive. You should be able to get new characters from level 10 to 70 in probably like 3 to 4 hours, depending on how quickly you can do these dungeons and how quickly you can boost these characters through them. And one of the really good things about this boosting method is that because that trial character is capped at level 20, anytime they get a new stat thread that increases their stats, they're just getting stronger. So the more you boost on this character, the more that boosting character is actually going to get more stats and continue to get stronger and stronger. So I would also recommend you do the 3 daily quests that are at any of the bazaar locations in Pandaria. You can only do 2 of them, which is to do a scenario and do some dungeon bosses. Those dailies you complete will give you a ton of additional threat stats, and completing your first daily heroic and normal dungeons will also give you a massive increase to your stat threads, and completing your first normal and heroic scenario every day will do the same. So I'd recommend doing those 2 daily quests, doing your normal and heroic daily dungeon, doing your daily normal and heroic scenario. All of those will give you massive stat increases on your boosting character, which will just make boosting easier and easier. If you do this on multiple characters to get multiple characters to 70, your boosting character will get to the point where they can basically one-shot most enemies within heroic dungeons, and they'll just continue to get stronger and stronger. So it'll get faster and faster. So that's the entirety of this boosting method. I would recommend using this. I think this is the absolute fastest way to not only get a bunch of characters at level 70, so you can have them for the launch of the War Within, but also get all of the bronze you're going to want or need to get all the cosmetics for the event. But that's all I want to go over. So thanks.